Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways episode from the Molly Fletcher interview this past Monday. She's an absolute game changer. I mean, that episode had so many actionable materials, so many actionable steps that you can use and implement into your life because, guys, that's really what I'm all about. Like, I love inspirational and motivational content because it provides me with high energy in the moment. But if it doesn't give me anything to actually take away and implement into my life, I feel like it's really useless. And that's what I try to do with these 3 takeaways episodes. Like, the inspiration and motivation is great, but if you don't actually take something away to try to implement into your life to better your life, then what good is it? So with these 3 takeaways, I'm trying to just provide you with maybe one thing. Like, I know you're not going to use all 3 takeaways in every 3 takeaways episode that I give off, but maybe if you can just find one and maybe like 6 of the episodes, that's a win for me. I want you to just find ways to make small changes to implement into your life to become closer to the best version of yourself. So before I get into my 3 takeaways with Molly, I really want to make sure that you go check out more of her story through her talks on YouTube. Guys, she graduated from Michigan State. She played tennis there. She moved to Atlanta having no job at all. And she figured out a way to get 8 years of rent completely free at an apartment complex. So I want you to go listen to that story. There's a lot more about her personal life in there as well, which is funny, inspiring, and so much great content there. So make sure you go check out Molly on YouTube and check her out at our website, mollyfletcher.com. And if you're out there, if you work for a business, you work for a corporation that's interested in our game-changing negotiation training workshops, then go check those out because I know they're great. She's got some great coaches on there to train different corporations and businesses. But let's get right into it, guys. Number 1 is going to be not afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. I think that's really a buzz idea is failure's good. Don't be afraid to fail. But I really like the mindset of don't be afraid to fail, knowing that it's part of your journey. Like if you had the idea or the thought process, knowing that failure is just part of whatever process or whatever journey you're going through, how much ease would it give you, or how much clarity or peace of mind would it give you when you fail? Knowing like, okay, that was going to happen. Now, how can I recover as quickly as possible and respond to it? Because that's really what it is. During every single process, every single journey that we go on, you are going to fail, but the difference between the good and the great, the successful and the mediocre, are the people who recover the quickest. And that's what we talked about a little bit in the episode, how Butch Harmon, one of the best golf coaches of all time, people like Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, all these players, he said the thing that separates them apart is that they recover the quickest. When they bogey, they're going to birdie the next hole. Because, guys, everybody fails. Everybody drops down and falls down during whatever process or journey they're going through. But the response time to recovery is the game-changing thing. So if you can minimize that response time, that's huge. I know for me, the way I do that, I'm not always great at it, but the way I minimize response time is owning the failure. If I ever victimize myself after failing, then I sulk in the failure a little bit too long. If I ever think it was somebody else's fault that I failed or that I couldn't have done anything about my failure, it drags out a little bit. But when I own my failure and realize I could have done something differently to prevent it, then it makes me respond very quickly. Takeaway number 2 is be curious. She talked about this curiosity in a couple different senses. 1, in terms of failure and responding to it, and then 2, in terms of building relationships. So let's first start with responding to failure. She said you really have to be courageous in order to respond to your failures, because when you fail, there's a question there. That means there was a gap between the success that you could have had and where you came up short. You have to be able to fill in that gap by asking yourself or others why that happened. And you have to be courageous to do that, because if you ask yourself why you failed or why you didn't have that achievement or have that success, you might find out that, oh, I didn't work hard enough in this area. I don't have a skill set in this area. I didn't experience this enough. So a lot of those answers aren't things that we necessarily want to hear, aren't things that we necessarily want to work on, but we have to be courageous enough to ask the question to know how we can work on it. Or it might be asking somebody else, a coach, a boss, a significant other. Like if you ask them, what could I have done better? What is something that I could have worked on to ensure that that failure doesn't happen again? And they'll give you some feedback as well. You need people who will give you honest feedback so you can actually work on the proper thing in order to grow and ensure that that failure doesn't happen again. Number 3 is going to be protect your energy. This is one of the things that I've actually implemented into my life. I'm trying to implement the first 2, but I'm really honing in on protecting your energy because, as you guys know, I have a lot of energy. That's maybe one of the reasons that you guys like listening to the podcast, because I have a lot of energy, and I feel like that's the thing that I need to protect. I know that I'm young, I'm 24, and I have all this energy, but I don't want to be that 40-year-old that thinks back to when he was 24 and thinks, oh man, I just had so much energy back then. Like I want to always have that energy. And so I'm always trying to think of ways now to protect that energy. And Molly has me super hyper focused on that because the one thing I'm trying to do is I realize how much I enjoy golf, watching it and playing it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go to the driving range one time a week right now. And I'm trying to schedule that out at the beginning of the week to know exactly when I'm going. That way I prioritize it and I'll schedule other things around it. So that's what I'm doing. But she talked really about how, guys, we think a lot about time and how we spend our time, but really think about what gives you energy. Golf gives me energy. That kind of success gives me energy. Being able to relax a little bit gives you energy. Spending time with your family, exercising. You have to prioritize those things that give you energy. They might not be the most productive things for your business or for the job that you have, but they will allow you to be fulfilled and to elevate your game in your job or in your business. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is do not be afraid to fail. Have the mindset going into whatever process and whatever journey that you're going through that failure is inevitable. It is going to happen. So when it does happen, ask that question why and recover as quickly as you can. Number 2 is be curious. Again, ask why you failed, either to yourself or others, in order to get the honest feedback that you need to have in order to grow from the situation. Also be curious in terms of building relationships, because if you ask somebody more and more questions, you get to know them on a deeper level. And when you know them on a deeper level, that way you can fill the gaps in their life and help solve their problems and whatever it is that they're going through. Number 3 is protect your energy. Energy is key to our everyday lives. How many people need to take naps 20, 30 minutes at 1 hour a day? How much more productive could you be? How much more could you do in life in general if you protected your energy? So do the things that maybe aren't productive with your job or business, spending time with your kids, exercising, doing the things that you love, like golf for me. Let those things fill you up and give you energy to succeed in your job or your business. Hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Again, if you have not listened to the Molly Fletcher episode yet, I promise you there's so much actionable material. I'm not just telling you that because it's my podcast. It's because I truly want you to be able to implement things in your life in order to be the best version of yourself. Because guys, we're all on this constant journey together. We're working as a team in this world, in this life. We're all trying to elevate each other to be the best version of ourselves. So our whole world, our whole community, whatever community it is that you live in, try to elevate other people so that all of you guys can be fulfilled together, can grow together. Because when you're around success, when you're around people who are focused on being intentional about their life and being intentional towards success, that's when you're going to be successful the most. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and it's time to go out and work on being the best version of you.